Hi, it's Mark again, RPM Tesla. We just picked up 3 brand new steering wheels from the dealership in Costa Mesa, and we're getting ready to fabricate these into carbon fiber. These are the tools we're going to give you to do the self-installation, and we're going to convert it from this leather steering wheel to this beautiful carbon fiber in the car. So let's get started and show you how fast and simple this installation is. Today we're going to show you how to install the Model 3 carbon fiber steering wheel. And this video does surpass the old one. We have had some upgrades, firmware upgrades specifically to the electronics inside. So now going forward we are shipping the 10mm socket and also the Allen wrench that you need, both of these, to release it and to get the airbag out. But this is the steering wheel as you're going to get it, and we're going to show you how to remove yours, put your switch controls back in and your airbag in. So this is all you'll be receiving from us. And of course, this is our beautiful glossy carbon fiber steering wheel. We're gonna show you the complete process. So let's get started by removing the first one, and then we're gonna come right back here and show you how to switch everything and put the controls in. So let's go over to the car. Inside the Model 3, and we're going to remove with the 2 Allen wrenches. So as you might have seen in our other videos, there are 2 holes on sides of the steering wheel, and you simply insert the Allen wrenches equally distant. And now in order to get the airbag to release, we have to just push it in all the way. But you'll notice when you put it in and you feel it, you're against a metal wall, and that's where you need to be. That way you're lined up with the release spring. But it's really simple. It's just like this. We're going to show it from both sides. And you just simply put it in, make sure you feel the metal plate on both sides. 1, 2, 3, push, and the airbag is released. Take out the Allen wrenches, the airbag is out. All we have to do is unplug the yellow plug. So the yellow is on the right, the purple is on the left. We're going to pinch both of these clips and unplug it. And now this is your airbag, and your airbag is going to go right back into your new steering wheel core right after we remove the 2 switches. Okay, so we're going to put that down, and now before we take the switches out, we're going to remove the steering wheel from the column. So you take out the other tool we sent you, which of course is the 10mm socket. And you will need to get a long pry bar or a big giant pair of pliers to do this. And then it's just a matter of, we're just going to crank it counterclockwise. And most of these cars aren't put together, and they've been put together recently, so they come off pretty easy. So with one hand on the wheel and one hand here, 1, 2, 3, push, and it just releases. Okay, so there's one giant screw or bolt is holding your Tesla steering wheel on the column, and then you can release the pry bar or giant socket, and there you have it. Okay, so these sometimes are marked, sometimes they're not marked with a marking point for alignment, but you're going to be putting it into a new steering wheel core, so it doesn't really make a difference. We're going to make it super tight, and now we're going to take the wheel off. Before you take the wheel off, you want to make sure that the wheel is nice and straight, because these 2 lining points are your clips. So before we take the wheel off, now we remove the purple clip. So pinch both of the clips and wiggle it until the purple clip is released. And there we go. So the purple clip actually stays with the wheel, and now our 2 sockets are open. So it's easy to remember, yellow on the right, purple on the left. And now with the wheel nice and straight, we just simply back and forth, wiggle it until it comes off. Now, one thing I want to point out is the grooves in the steering wheel. Remember, this is yellow, this is purple, but you'll notice at the very tippy top, there's a groove. So you have to put the wheel on perfect. It won't let you misalign it. If you can see way inside there, that straight groove area is going to line up with this groove, so it will ensure proper alignment. All right, let's go out to the table, remove the few screws, put it back in your new wheel, and then we're gonna assemble it and install it back in the car. Okay, cut. Wait, there you go. All right, now we're going to remove the electronics from the standard leather steering wheel and put them in this wheel. It's only 4 screws, so it's super easy. Don't feel like it's a lot of work because you'll see how really basic this is, how it pops right out. First thing to do is we need to turn it over, okay? So on the back side, we have these plastic tabs that need to be released. And once you release the plastic tabs, then everything loosens up. So you just gotta push them in so they're not locked, okay? That's it, 1, 2, 3. So you see how the tabs were extending over the aluminum frame? Now they're not. Now we turn it over, and there is the other tool we give you. This is a torque bit, number 25, I believe. And we're gonna loosen up the 3 screws, pop it out, transfer it into the new one. So with a ratchet, just grab the first tool. Grab the first torque screw and turn it to the left. And screws super quick. And then it comes right out. And we're going to use the same screw to reinstall it in your new wheel. So there's screw number 1. Now to get the screw number 2, we have to move a little bit of the electronics because we just released it from the back. So this is screw number 2. And we're doing the top of the wheel first. Just turn it to the left. Pull it right out. And there's number 2. And now for the final one, screw number 3 and 4, actually. 3 and 4 are down here. Just get right in there and break it loose. Now, one thing that's good to mention is torque. Don't over tighten these screws. These screws are going into plastic, and you don't want to crack the plastic by tightening them down too much. So this is the last screw. And now we have all 4 screws. And now watch how we remove the actual switches. Everything is released, so everything comes right out. You just pull that, pull the volume control, GPS control, and now you are taking out everything out of your wheel to put into your new carbon fiber wheel, okay? So 4 switches, 4 screws, and the first thing we have to do is we have to take the airbag release metal ring out of here. This is actually what loads and unloads your airbag. So we want to put this spring in your new wheel. So it just, you can see how the Allen wrenches push it in. The airbag releases these 3 points, and that's it. So now let's start installing your new wheel. Come over to your new wheel, put the metal clip down inside, spread this out. You can see that your steering wheel airbag is going to go in and push these to the side. So that's how these work. And then when you want to release your airbag, if you ever do again, it just locks itself into this metal ring. Okay, so now let's take the electronics and move it over. So now I'm still keeping all of my wrapping on the carbon fiber wheel just because I don't want to damage it or scratch it in any way. But at this point, we're going to remove the paper wrapping from the bottom because we're going to put this right in here. Again, this is all a snap fit. So just line up everything on here, and all we're doing, in case anybody cares to know, is this is thermoplastic rubber, or TPR, and this is injection molded material, and there are mating parts on the steering wheel. We have 2 round ones here, we have 2 dashes for the sides, and I believe 3 on top. So once this all snaps in, then we screw it down, put the airbag in, and that's it. So now we have the bottom wheel. That's it. Perfect. Doesn't scratch any of the carbon fiber up. Then we have the top controls on the left, top on the right. I like to work them in slowly because what we're doing is we're actually pressing the wheel into here. So you can see on this side, we're putting all of the plastic clips into the thermoplastic rubber that the wheel is injection molded into. So once we get all this in, all these pieces line up, and it's a press fit where it all just pushes together, snaps together, and you'll know that it leaves a nice perfect border all the way around. You can flip the back over, give it a nice squeeze on your beautiful steering wheel with the beautiful leather sides. Is all fully assembled, and now we just got to put the 4 screws back in. So remember the order we did this. We're going to put the bottom screws in first, then the top, then we're going to push the plastic through so these catch on the back side. Okay, so we don't want to do it yet, so let's just start off with the lower screws first. Okay, you just line it up, put it right over the hole, and remember what I mentioned about over tightening. So just use the ratchet and spin it. Let's just get them all started like this. Okay, there's 1, there's 2, and get them hand tightening. We don't want to crack them or crack the plastic. Here's 3, and they'll be set up right over the hole if it's all snapped together, if the housing is snapped in correctly. And number 4. Okay, just tighten it down by hand. All right, now we're going to put the ratchet back on. We're going to go to screw number 1, and we're going to give it like a half turn. That's plenty. Another half turn. Plenty. And another half to 3/4 turn. That's good. As long as you're not crushing it and it becomes hard to turn, you're not going to crack the plastic. Okay, so now everything is correct. Now we just put these little plastic guides back over the holes and push them down. 1, 2, and 3. And you'll know if they're in the hole or not when we turn it over. So on the back side here, you'll see that these plastic clips are catching. So you have to push down from the front and they lock in. Okay, I'll show you on this side. You're pushing down on here till you hear the click. So now, before you put it back in your car, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plastic guide clips all the way through the aluminum wheel, holding on in the back. Now, after one final inspection, making sure that we are ready to put all this in, we're going to go back to the car and put it back in the vehicle. Okay? All right, great. Cut. All right. So we have our wheel ready to be fully reinstalled. And first thing we want to do is line up that slot that I mentioned so we know we have proper alignment. So take the wheel and you'll see right over, it only goes on one way. You cannot put the wheel on crooked. If you try to put the wheel on here, the teeth don't line up. So it's very nice of Tesla to make this for us. Super simple. There's a slot on the bottom and a slot on the top. It's the only way it can be installed is straight. Okay, first thing, let's plug in the purple plug. And again, I'll clear my hands out of the way. You just simply plug it straight in. Hear it lock, check it, pull on it. Make sure both the top and the bottom latches are in. Can't do it wrong. If you don't connect it properly, the car is not going to start. Next thing is the bolt. The big 10mm socket. Start by hand threading it and just line it up and turn it on. Screw it in And we're gonna use 2 hands, tighten it down good. And now we're going to use a large ratchet or a breaker bar, or in this case, a torque bar. So this torque bar is set to 100 pounds. It does not need that much torque, but you'll see we won't even crack it. We won't even get that much torque on it. So it's very tight. That's it. Super snug. Don't scratch anything. Don't let it hit your wheel. And now we are ready. That's our horn. So your horn works. You're ready for your airbag. Okay. Now some companies turn off the vehicle power. We don't need to do anything with the Tesla, but if you want to be extra safe, just click on your control switch, service, and then there is no power off in this car. I just remembered that. Never mind. Okay. So anyway, let's plug in our yellow airbag plug and snap it in. Okay, this is the power for the airbag. Of course, the vehicle will do a full system startup and verify everything is working. So again, you're going to line up these pins, these line pins with those 3 holes. And when time you push it in, the horn honks, airbag is working. And let's do a reboot just to show everybody, in case anyone's curious. Hold down the 2 knobs, count to 10, and your main display will reboot. While that's rebooting, let's uncover this beautiful carbon fiber wheel. And these are absolutely gorgeous. I personally have a satin one in my car, but the glossy is deep and rich. And you can look into the internal pattern to see how absolutely stunning it is. And again, we don't just wrap a little portion of the top like our competitor in Los Angeles. We wrap the whole thing from 10 to 2. Nice, soft, beautiful Napa leather. Super soft, padded. And the bottom is all molded here in carbon fiber. And the other thing, we are at 14.25 inch outer diameter. So with the padding and the top, we did increase the diameter to make the wheel feel a little bit bigger, not like a tiny little 14-inch wheel. Even though a 1/4 inch isn't a lot, we still think it really feels great in your hands. And of course, we have black stitching. We can do custom stitching by request. And now this wheel's going to our shop in Colorado, the original wheel, and it's going to be converted and sold to another customer. Thanks again, RPM Tesla, and this is our Model 3 carbon fiber steering wheel, and super easy to remove the switches. So you have your airbag, your switches, just in an OEM Tesla core that we purchased from the Tesla dealer. Thanks again.